Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel, General Hospital Diaries. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more detailed videos. Today on General Hospital, Tracy joins Emma in taking a stand. Drew makes Kai an offer, and Lulu gives Lucky some advice. Sasha meets with Maxie at the bistro. Sasha shows her the photo from her sonogram, and also reveals she has decided to stay on at the Quartermains. Maxie assures her that if she ever changes her mind, there will always be space for her and the baby at her house. Sasha says she'll need her job, and while she can support herself and her child, she regrets causing complications for Maxie's ability to take care of her own kids. Sasha brings up the situation with Deception's deal with Sidwell, and tells Maxie that she shouldn't let personal issues with him interfere with business. She admits she overreacted, clarifies that Sidwell didn't mistreat her, and explains that her mother was behind the entire ordeal. She urges Maxie not to let past conflicts affect what's best for Deception. Maxie acknowledges Sasha's perspective and says she'll consider it carefully. At the hospital, Tracy asks Liz if Stella is still around, but Liz informs her that she has already left. Liz then inquires about Monica's well-being, to which Tracy responds that she is having a good day. Tracy expresses her concern that Monica must not find out about Drew's plans to relocate her late husband. Liz is shocked, especially since Monica was the one who initially welcomed Drew into the family. Tracy reveals that, for once, Monica is in agreement with her. Drew is no longer considered part of their family. At the Quartermain crypt, Ezra arrives with a sheriff and a construction foreman who has brought heavy machinery. Trina, who rents the apartment above the garage, comes outside, frustrated by the noise. She asks what is going on. Ezra informs her that they are here to demolish the crypt. Gio and Emma arrive, and Ezra hands them legal papers authorizing the demolition. Gio argues that none of them are Quartermains, and since Monica owns the property, she is the one who must be served. Emma insists that the family is fighting this, but Ezra coldly states that nothing and no one can prevent this from happening. Back at the hospital, Yuri calls Tracy to inform her that a bulldozer is about to tear down the crypt. He holds the legal documents he was just served. Back at the crypt, the sheriff confirms that he has delivered the paperwork to Yuri, but he personally questions whether this action is legal, given that Yuri is not the owner of the property. Ezra dismisses his concerns and orders the construction team to begin. Emma urges Gio and Trina to stall while she runs off. Trina starts recording on her phone, pointing out that there are family remains inside, and that disturbing them would not only be unethical, but could also be a serious legal and health violation. The construction foreman, visibly uncomfortable, states that he does not deal with situations involving human remains and walks away. Gio, emphasizing his own background and values, states that the public would be outraged by such treatment of the Quartermain family's legacy. Despite this, Ezra insists there is no reason to delay the process any further. Just then, Emma returns and defiantly chains herself to the crypt door, declaring that they will have to go through her to bring the building down. Ezra demands that the sheriff arrest her. Tracy arrives and, stepping in firmly, warns the sheriff that she will escalate the matter to her judicial contacts if he dares to touch Emma. Meanwhile, Emma instructs Trina to keep recording everything and tells Gio to call her grandmother. Ezra again orders the sheriff to arrest Emma, but Tracy refuses to back down, stating that if the sheriff so much as approaches Emma, she will ensure that he faces serious consequences. Tracy then sits beside Emma and, in a symbolic gesture, wraps her long rope necklace around them both. As Trina continues recording, Tracy asserts that this is not about environmental concerns, but about Congressman Kane's vendetta against the Quartermain family. Anna finally arrives and is shocked to see Emma chained to the mausoleum. She demands an explanation. Emma stands her ground, stating that she is fighting for what is right. Ezra turns to Anna, asking if she intends to do her job and remove her granddaughter and Tracy. Anna reviews the demolition order, then instructs someone to bring bolt cutters. She regretfully informs Emma and Tracy that, despite her personal feelings, the law must be upheld. In Drew's office, he finalizes arrangements for Kai to give additional speeches for the sports initiative. He tells Kai that people admire him and that he has much more to offer beyond football. Kai acknowledges this, admitting that he has no plans if he is certain about that. Kai explains that his injury makes it impossible, and Trina has helped him accept that reality. Drew then asks, hypothetically, if there were a way for him to play football safely, would he take it? Kai says he would. Drew reveals that he has connections to top medical specialists worldwide, including one who might be able to help. Kai admits that he lacks the financial means for such treatment, but Drew assures him that he does. Kai, suspicious, asks why Drew would go out of his way to help him. Drew simply states that he sees a bright future ahead for Kai. Kai, still hesitant, suggests that Drew must want something in return. Drew denies any ulterior motives and encourages Kai to listen to his side of the story before forming opinions based on what Trina and Curtis have told him. Drew gives Kai a brief summary of what transpired between him and Curtis, assuring him he would never ask him to choose between him, Trina, and Curtis. Kai considers that having a protege in the NFL could be beneficial to Drew's career, but wonders what happens if he pays for the procedure and still can't play. Drew reassures him that, football or not, he believes he has a bright future ahead, and this is an investment in that future. Drew provides him with information on the doctor and the surgery, emphasizing that the sooner it's performed after the initial injury, the better the chances of recovery. Kai thanks him. Lulu stops by the closed Charlie's to see her brother, noting that he spends all his time at Liz's and she hardly sees him. He shares that they are planning a trip back to New York and asks if Aiden could stay with her and their mom. Lulu asks if he's certain about this. Returning to a place so meaningful to them could be risky. If the experience doesn't live up to their first trip, it might tarnish a treasured memory. Lucky clarifies that this trip isn't about reclaiming the past, but exploring future possibilities. Lulu asks if he's hoping for a future with Elizabeth. He admits he would like that, but also acknowledges she may not want to take another chance on him. All he can do is be honest and hopeful. Lulu admits she doesn't know what she wants, but she's certain their mom would love having Aiden stay with them. Kristina pounds on Ava's door. Rick, having just made peace with Alexis, hides in another room to avoid disrupting his truce with Kristina's mother. Ava lets Kristina in and suggests she avoid standing near the window. Kristina is appalled, believing Ava is making light of her loss. She then confronts Ava about taking Sunny back to court over Avery. Ava insists that Sunny is not in the right condition to care for their daughter, pointing out that his house was recently bombed by an enemy and Avery could have been in danger. She argues that Avery is safer with her and states she will request increased child support to provide better care for their daughter. Kristina is outraged that Ava would use her daughter in this manner. Ava counters that she will do whatever is necessary to protect Avery, something Kristina wouldn't understand as she isn't a mother. Ava also notes that if Sunny's enemies become aware of his condition, it could place Avery at risk. Kristina, emotionally charged, declares that while it may be too late for Morgan and Adela, she won't let Ava take her father away from her. She vows to stop her. Kristina storms out, and Ava tells Rick that he just witnessed Kristina threatening her. Rick acknowledges that Kristina's reaction indicates Sunny's condition is serious, but also warns that his brother is never more dangerous than when his back is against the wall. They are interrupted when Liz calls Rick. She has the information he requested to help Portia. Upon hearing Ava in the background, Liz offers to drop the papers off at Ava's place. After ending the call, Ava questions Rick about the conversation. He explains that Liz is assisting him with Portia's defense. Ava accuses Liz of using him, arguing that Liz cares more about GH than Portia, and that Rick has breached attorney-client privilege by involving her. She warns that Liz now has information that could be used against him. Rick defends Liz, saying she would never betray him and only wants to help Portia. Meanwhile, Kristina goes to the parking garage, finds Ava's parking space, and unknowingly tampers with Rick's car. Back at Ava's apartment, Liz arrives with the papers for Rick. Not wanting to interrupt, she quickly leaves. Rick rushes after her to explain, and Ava calls after him, telling him to take his time coming back. Kristina heads to Charlie's, where Lucky asks where she's been, reminding her it's almost time to open. She explains that she had a heated argument with Ava, lost her temper, and made a mistake. Determined to fix it, she rushes off, leaving Lucky concerned and speeds off in her car and attempts to call Ava. At home, Ava sips a martini and ignores the call. Meanwhile, Rick offers Liz a ride home since Aiden has her car. He refuses to let her use a rideshare service after all the help she's given. Liz asks if there's anything else she can do for Portia. Rick questions her true motives. Does she genuinely want to help, or is she just trying to extract information from him? Liz is taken aback by his accusation and urges him to slow down. Rick suddenly realizes something is wrong with his brakes. The car veers off the road. Sunny and Jason travel to Toronto in search of the hitman responsible for planting the bomb. Sunny is determined to find out who ordered the attack and make them pay for Michael's pain. Jason asks how he plans to handle it once they find Selinski. Sunny admits he isn't sure. In Toronto, Selinski arrives at his apartment, only to find Sunny waiting for him, gun in hand. Sunny orders him to slide his weapon over, which he does. Sunny knows he was behind the bombing and that his son was injured as a result. He offers him a chance to live in exchange for the name of the person who hired him. The hitman insists he doesn't know, claiming he never meets his clients and is paid via cryptocurrency. Sunny counters that no one would take a job without knowing some details. Selinski attempts to flee, but Jason is blocking the door. Sunny gives him one last chance to reveal the name. Selinski warns that he'll be targeted if he talks. Sunny tells him that giving up the name at least gives him a chance to disappear. If he stays silent, he won't get that option. Nina stopped by Ava's place to express her gratitude for connecting her with Portia. She was confident that, together, they could find a resolution to their ongoing Drew situation. Nina noticed that Ava appeared to be in a hurry. Ava explained that she needed to get Avery over to Sunny's place and didn't want to be late. Nina found it curious that Ava was so concerned about being on time for a man who clearly doesn't hold you in high regard. Ava dismissed Nina's comment, explaining that she wanted to maintain a peaceful co-parenting environment for Avery. In fact, Sunny and I had a rather enlightening conversation recently. I'm seeing Sunny with fresh eyes now, Ava said with a knowing smile. Deanne was startled when she entered her shared office with Alexis and found Alexis lying on the floor with her eyes closed. Diane sighed with relief when Alexis assured her she was simply meditating. Alexis admitted she had invited Rick over to extend an olive branch, but needed to meditate first to prepare for the meeting. "Do I have time to make popcorn before he gets here?" Diane asked playfully. When Rick arrived, his first words were, "Alexis, I owe you an apology." The unexpected statement caught Alexis off guard, but Rick continued. "We've had a long and complicated history. There will always be fundamental differences between us, but I realize that engaging in constant conflict is not only unfair to you, but also to our daughter." Rick acknowledged that Cody, of all people, had helped him recognize the need for change. "I accept your apology," Alexis said. "And I accept yours," Rick replied. Alexis pointed out that she hadn't given one, but Rick was certain she eventually would. Diane ensured that the conversation remained civil, and Alexis sighed before agreeing to a ceasefire. When Molly walked in and saw her parents in the same room, she was initially tense, but Rick and Alexis reassured her that they had reached an understanding and called a truce. Kristina was surprised when she opened the door to Sunny's house and found Molly there. Molly admitted that losing Sam had made her realize how much she valued having Kristina in her life. Kristina wasn't sure they could simply go back to the way things were, so Molly suggested taking small steps, even proposing a movie night with Alexis. The suggestion made Kristina smile, and the sisters embraced just as Ava arrived with Avery. Ava made a point to bring up the recent incident involving Sunny. Kristina told Ava that it wasn't her concern, but Ava disagreed. Actually, it is. If Sunny isn't in a position to properly care for our daughter, then I should, full-time, she stated firmly. When Ava returned home, she found Rick in her apartment and scolded him for parking in her spot. He defended himself by saying all the other spots were occupied. Rick was in too good a mood to argue after his surprisingly productive discussion with Alexis. The last thing I expected happened. Alexis and I actually found common ground. It's a whole new chapter for me and the Davis family, he marveled. Right on cue, Kristina began knocking on the door, demanding that Ava open up so they could settle this now. Rick and Ava exchanged knowing looks. Felicia, wearing her patient advocate hat, asked Sasha if she planned to add Jason's information to her medical records. I appreciate you checking in, but just because everyone knows who my baby's father is doesn't mean I want him involved, Sasha said. Felicia then inquired if Sasha intended to put Jason's name on the baby's birth certificate. Sasha admitted she hadn't thought much about it, but Felicia advised her to handle all legal matters before the baby's arrival. In Sunny's office, Jason was furious upon learning that Ava had withheld Sunny's heart medication. Sunny, however, still held himself responsible for allowing Ava to manipulate the situation. Jason urged Sunny not to delay his surgery, but Sunny remained steadfast. He insisted he couldn't proceed until he uncovered who was behind the incendiary device planted in his office. As if on cue, Brick entered with a lead on the person who nearly put Michael in serious danger. Brick revealed that the man Valentin had mentioned was a former intelligence agent currently located in Toronto. I can have the plane ready and be in Toronto within an hour, Jason declared. Brick warned Jason that the individual in question was extremely dangerous, but Sunny brushed off the concern. I'm more dangerous, he countered. Jason was taken aback when Sunny announced that he planned to accompany him on the trip. Jason tried to dissuade him. What if you have another episode and the medication doesn't work? Jason asked. Sunny took a moment to consider the warning. Sunny reasoned that confronting the man responsible for the fire would bring him some peace of mind. Jason pointed out that their goal was to track down the middleman, not eliminate him. They needed to know who had hired him. After some discussion, Jason finally agreed to let Sunny come along. As they prepared their gear and got ready to leave, Jason ignored a voicemail from Sasha, who wanted to talk about the baby. Sunny remained determined to uncover whoever was targeting his family. The camera then panned to a framed photo of Michael and Morgan. Jordan and Isaiah returned to her apartment after a 5-mile recreational hike. Isaiah remarked that this wasn't exactly what he had envisioned when they agreed to meet discreetly. He quickly sensed that Jordan was preoccupied with something. She finally admitted that Councilman Boyle had advised her to distance herself from Laura due to Laura's connection with Sunny. Additionally, he had suggested that she leverage the friendship to position herself for the mayor's seat. Isaiah found the suggestion unsettling. The thing that bothers me the most is that I actually agree with him, Jordan confessed, referring to Laura's relationship with Sunny, not betraying Laura. However, she was disappointed that Laura hadn't supported moving the Esplanade project to Pier 55. I'm starting to realize that Laura will never view Sonny as the public concern that he is, she concluded. Isaiah, who had grown to admire Sonny, acknowledged that while Sonny had a complicated past, he also contributed positively to the community. Their conversation was interrupted by a knock on the door. Brick had arrived and even brought flowers. Upon noticing Isaiah, Jordan requested that he keep their relationship private. Brick agreed but issued a cautionary remark to Isaiah. "By the way, I've heard some questionable things about your family. For your sake, I hope you're not involved in any of it," Brick said. Outside Charlie's, Elizabeth spoke with Lucas over the phone, informing him that Rick had confirmed Portia's situation was serious. After ending the call, she entered the pub and was surprised to see Lucky setting up a romantic meal for two. Elizabeth couldn't believe how delicious the chicken parmesan was. Lucky revealed that it was from Lorenzo's, a beloved New York City Italian restaurant they had visited in the past. "What do you say? Let me take you back to New York," Lucky suggested, proposing a weekend getaway. This led Elizabeth to reminisce about the trip they had taken in high school, complete with nostalgic 1980s flashbacks. "I had the time of my life," Liz said. Lucky then surprised her by revealing that he had already booked a room in the same hotel they had stayed in back then. When Liz had to leave for work, Lucky pressed her for an answer. "You knew the answer before you even asked. And this time, neither of us will have to sleep on the floor," she said with a smile. Meanwhile, in the solarium, Chase noticed Brooklyn hard at work. She explained that she had extra work to do since Lulu had resigned. She then informed Chase that his visit to Laura's apartment had played a role in Lulu's decision to leave her position. Chase was immediately frustrated that Lulu had shared personal details that it's none of her business. It doesn't matter that her talking could complicate everything. Lulu just has to say it, and that's all that matters, Chase said. That's just her way, Brooklyn pointed out. While she appreciated Chase standing up for her, she also noted that his reaction was out of character. "Just because I don't show that side of me very often doesn't mean it's not there. Brooklyn, I will do whatever it takes to protect your privacy," Chase assured his wife. Brooklyn understood how difficult the situation was for him, but she admired his resolve. "It's not about blame, it's just reality," Chase said. "You had a child with my best friend, and that's something I have to learn to live with. I just never expected it." On the next General Hospital, Lucky arrives at the scene of an accident, and an officer assures him they are doing everything they can to help her. Come back to our channel for all your updates. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel.